Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Felsbrunn Farm. And we have some bugs that I've discovered. I decided to keep the Mahindra, by the way, drove it back up. And while I was driving my equipment back to the farm, I couldn't close the combine after the job. It was very, very strange. It wouldn't let me fold the roof back up. Just wouldn't even give me the option. So I kind of exited out of the game, reloaded back in, and then I was finally able to fold the top of the harvester back down again. Very strange little bug. And now I don't know if this is a bug or a feature, but I can't not put down fertilizer, even though this field doesn't need it. So this seed obviously will do seed and fertilizer. The worker has been busy seeding away the entire field for me. We just fire the worker. There we go. I'll take over and I'll do the last bit. And you can see that my fertilizer level has gone down a lot. Even though this field does not need fertilizer, because this one is already at 2 stages. But even if I take over and I do it manually, so I lower and turn on, and I do the seeding myself, watch my fertilizer count. It's at 590. Now 589. 588, and so on and so forth. Even though I'm seeding manually, and all I want to do is put in seed, I can't turn off the fertilizer function of this seeder. So that's a bit frustrating. I can only put down seed and fertilizer in this. It's not like 17, where if you had a field that didn't need fertilizer, it just wouldn't put it down, and it would only put down the seed. This will put down fertilizer regardless. I don't know if that's planned or if it's a bug, but it's expensive, basically. We've wasted a lot of fertilizer by fertilizing an entire field that is already fully fertilized, and we have no way of stopping that. So hopefully that is a bug, and that means it'll get fixed pretty quickly. Otherwise, if it's a deliberate feature, it's going to need a lot of complaints before it gets taken out, I think. We'll have to wait and see exactly what happens with that. But we're just about done sowing oats on this field, as you can see. And hopefully overnight we'll see some growth. We'll also probably see some weeds start to pop in, and we'll have to do some weeding on our fields. So let's turn the seeder off now. Take it back to the farm, give it a clean, put it away. Might even do some maintenance on the seeder, actually. It's not just vehicles that need to be maintained this time, it is the tools as well. So let's park the seeder just there for a second. You can see our New Holland is now nearly halfway down on its maintenance bar, so that is going to need to be maintained. Let's see, does this... Oh, condition, yeah, bad. 266 to repair it. There we go, it's now fixed. That thing has only done 2 small fields, like, well, I say small, 2 fields like that, and it completely trashed the condition of it down to 0. That's bad. That's really bad. That is very, very severe indeed. So you need to make sure you keep an eye on your equipment. Otherwise it's going to really break down incredibly quickly. So, a bit of a grumble at the start of this episode there, with a few little bugs that I've discovered, and wow, to completely destroy my seeder after just doing 2 small fields like that, that is a little concerning at just how quickly I racked at damage on that thing. Let's move over here with the New Holland and let's repair this, see how expensive this is going to be at about a little over half. Let's have a look. Oh, the condition on that is much healthier than it shows on the monitor. Maybe that was a... Yeah, that's strange. So things don't seem to line up properly there either. Well, let's repair it for 471 euros. There we go. Let's park this up for the night. You can see the sun already starting to set. We are now just about 7:15 in the evening. So we'll jump in, we'll get some sleep, and see what state our fields are in the morning. Maybe we'll need to do some weeding. Oh, in fact, yeah, you can see weeds are starting to come through already. So when we come back in the morning, we will weed these fields and clean them up. They're loading in stages at the moment, by the look of it, based on how they were grown or how they were planted. So this field will be very weedy. That one hopefully should have some weeds as well. I'll see you in the morning, and we'll crack on with dealing with that. Yeah, good morning. The birds are singing, the sun is coming up. There's the moon going down. The sun is somewhere over the mountains there, and oh wow. Yeah, those weeds grew overnight, didn't they? Weed 100%. Does that mean we've left it too long already? The same on this field as well, look. Weeds all the way along. Really thick weeds as well. I don't know if our weeders are going to be able to cope with those. This could be another problem, because we don't have any cash. We're minus $1,100 euros at the moment, so nearly minus 1,200 euros. So I don't think we could even afford to put skinny wheels on this, because we don't own skinny wheels, I don't think. We might have to go and sell the Mahindra after all, just so we can afford the replacement parts that we need for this. Let's see. Wheel setup. Oh no, we can afford these. Looks like we're not getting charged for the customization on the wheels, even though we didn't buy skinny wheels. That's kind of cool. Maybe that's a bug. Who knows? We're finding all sorts of strange things out this morning. So let's jump into our weeder, or connect up to our weeder. Let's not jump into it. And, painful. Not really do anything other than perhaps knock it over. Let's see if we can weed out these fields. See the in-cab lighting looking quite nice. Let's start on this field over here. Let's unfold. Let's get our working lights on as well, because it is still quite dark up here. Sun hasn't climbed over the hill that far yet. And of course we do need skinny wheels because crop destruction is on, so we do risk damaging our wheat on this field and our oats on the other field. And let's see, can we get rid of these weeds, or are they too deeply entrenched? They are too deeply entrenched, so we're going to have to use herbicide to deal with these weeds. Okay, so there's a tiny, tiny window on normal crop growth as to when you can actually de-weed, and we missed it. We can't do anything on that field. What about the other field? Is that one too far ahead as well? I think it's the same. Is there maybe a thinner strip? I'm so used to the gameplay of Seasons where everything takes time to happen, but this has happened so quickly, it's caught me by surprise. And again, look, I mean, it's great that we can see the weeder is kind of not destroying our crop, it's just pulling it down and then it springs back up again as we go through. But yeah, we're not doing anything to these weeds at all, still 100%. So we had a very small window for the weeds and we missed it. And now we're going to have to use herbicide to deal with that. That is not good at all. So we have a sprayer which we've just filled with fertilizer. So we can't empty that out, I don't think. Or we might be able to, actually. We should be able to empty out the sprayer that way. Let's just park that there for a second. If we can't, we'll do some spraying on our field to at least put some fertilizer down. Let me just grab the New Holland first of all. I should have cleaned this off last night. It's still covered in mud. We'll do that in a bit. Let's hook up to our sprayer. There we go, and we should, in theory, be able to empty this in the same way that we can with lime and stuff. So let's try. Yes, there we go, we've emptied. So we've got our full 2,000 litre pallet back. That's really, really handy, because we need to go and fill this at the store so that we can put some herbicide in there. How much is herbicide going to cost? Just out of interest, because we can't afford that either. Let's have a look. 2,400 euros for 2,000 litres. Okay. We're going to have to sell the Mahindra, because we are maxed out financially. We simply cannot take out any more money. We can't do anything really until... oh, can we? No, yes, borrow is greyed out. And we can't repay anything either because we don't have any money to pay back what we owe. Yeah, a tough start for our farm here. So we also have this leased equipment. We need to take that back so we're not paying out on our leasing fees. So let's first off, let's run the leased equipment back, and then we'll take the Mahindra down. We'll sell the Mahindra, and then we'll bring some herbicide back. There we go. It's times like this I wish I had Follow Me so I could bring the other tractor down as well with the trailer. We just have to be careful how we drive like this. Let's get this equipment back to the store so we're not paying lease costs. Sell our Mahindra and buy some herbicide so we can attack those very rampant, very strong, heavy-duty weeds. Yeah. I went all the way down there and sold off the plough and the bridle spreader, and it turns out that we actually own the plough. I didn't realise that we owned the plough. I thought that was leased as well. I completely forgot that we paid for that. So inadvertently, I have sold a piece of equipment that I owned, but it will now give us the cash that we need to purchase the herbicide that we need, which is good. And we're not going to need the plough again for a while, so my parking was a bit off there. Let's try repositioning, get a bit closer. There we go, that should be better. Let's customise our trailer to flatbed mode. There we go. So yeah, we've actually got the cash that we need now to pay for our herbicide, which we can then load into our sprayer and treat these fields. We don't have to sell the Mahindra after all. I still may sell it, just to raise a bit of extra cash. It depends what our finances look like tomorrow, I suppose, after leasing costs. And I think what I'll do as well is spend the rest of the cash that we have now to buy in some additional supplies. So I'll buy some extra pesticide. I have no idea how quickly that's going to go down. So I'll buy a couple of pallets of that so we have a bit spare, potentially, or enough to at least do the job. And we may well have to do another round of weeding as the crop continues to grow. And I might buy some additional seed and fertilizer as well, just so we can top our seeder back up. And I'll have to be very careful not to put fertilizer in the seeder if we're buying a field that's already fertilized. Just put seed in it so that we don't end up wasting a lot of fertilizer like we did last time. Hopefully it's not going to say refuses to work because there's no fertilizer in it. It shouldn't be an issue, but you never know. We're already finding out things that aren't quite right, or have changed quite substantially from 17 that we didn't really know about. So yeah, I can't say with anything really with any degree of certainty at this point. Okay, there we go. We have a full trailer, 2 pallets of herbicide, 3 pallets of seed, and 1 pallet of fertilizer for our seeder. So, let me just have a quick look and see on leased equipment. leased items. How much are we paying for this on a daily basis? It doesn't say. Let me check how much it would cost to lease one, and that's going to be the easiest way to figure that out. Details, leased per day, 370 euros. We're going to be back here quite a lot. We've only used it for 0.3 hours, so we may as well keep hold of it for now. We just have to factor that into our expenses, an extra 370 euros a day until we stop using this. Again, we could just pallet load everything with our forks, but I like the forklift. I don't really want to get rid of it at this stage unless we absolutely have to. So we'll leave it there for now. So let's get all this back to the farm. We'll load the sprayer up with our herbicide, with these lovely sort of orangey red canisters on the side instead of the blue, and then attack those weeds. Hopefully they won't grow back almost immediately, which is, well, a possibility. Not a particularly pleasant one, but it is definitely a possibility. There we go. We need the seeder. Oh, seeder's already out, isn't it? So, let's unstrap. Why can't I unstrap? Have we found another bug? Do I need to be connected to undo the straps? What is going on here? This is bizarre. Let's try that again. Right, I'm connected up. And I can't unstrap. Oh, there we go. Maybe I was looking for the green prompt. And of course, yeah. You don't get a green prompt until you unstrap it. I think I just had a bit of a brain fart, you know. So not a bug, just you know, a moment of foolishness. Right, let's get this first pallet off the back, get it into the sprayer, and see just how. Oops, careful. Just how quickly we're going to burn through this stuff, getting rid of those weeds. We park that there for a second and grab our fence. Need to get rid of the weeder because those weeds are way too overgrown. And as I was driving down back and forth from the store, I noticed that there are a lot of weeds in a lot of the surrounding fields as well, so maybe we could take our weeder and go and do some weeding jobs potentially for some of the other farmers. That'd be interesting. See if we can actually do some weeding with the weeder. There we go. Now I don't think you can tip directly into the back of one of these like you can with seed and fertilizer for a seeder. No, you can't, but we can at least put it in position above the inlet tank, so it looks a little bit better. And then we'll just click L3 and fill up, like so. There we go, 2,000 litres. Let's just move this out of the way, turn the engine off, so we're not burning through fuel. I had to refuel on the way back as well, because we're about half a tank already. So that might be partly because of the increased wear on the vehicle. You know, the longer you leave it, the more power your tractor loses, and also the more fuel it burns as well. So this is our first look at this brand new Hardy sprayer. It's got quite a big working width, 24 meters I think it is. And let's raise, how high does this go up? All the way up to there. That's not too bad, actually. It's kind of cool. I like that. So we don't want it to be too high. Make sure we're lined up. There we go. And let's start spraying off the weeds. Now the weeds should just kind of burn up a little bit, and they won't immediately disappear. So you can see that it's kind of killing the weeds. But they're not instantly disappearing like they would if they were smaller and we attacked them with the weeder. Then they would just disappear instantly. So it'd be interesting to see how long it takes for them to disappear. Maybe by the time we get back down on the next pass, you know, the front of this pass might have disappeared. Be very curious to see how that turns out. And you can see the difference in the colour in the field straight away. Just all those flowers from the weeds just gone instantly, replaced with those sort of dead versions there, and it kind of almost changes the look of the crop as well a little bit in terms of the crop colour. It's not, it's just we're actually seeing it a bit more clearly because the weeds aren't dominating. It's quite hard to actually see the crop itself at the moment. And we're weaving a little bit, so we need to kind of straighten up a bit. There we go. How fast are we burning through? Nearly at the end. We'll use about 200 litres on a pass. That's not too bad. So the extra herbicide that we've got, we're not going to need. Well, not for a while anyway. No doubt we will need it at some point. Oh, I just took out another signpost. I've been destroying signs all over the place since I moved into Felsbrunn. The local authority are not going to be pleased with the amount of work they're going to have to do replacing signs on the road. I just keep clattering them all over the place. I've already taken out like 4 this morning, going back and forth to the store, and now that one there as well. What's it look like in cab? Oh, it looks very colourful in cab, doesn't it? Look at that. And then we look out the back and it's a desolate wasteland. Well, maybe not. Slight exaggeration. But yeah, you can see the difference there straight away between those dead weeds and all these kind of alive and thriving ones here. Massive difference in colour. And they're still there, so they haven't disappeared yet. Okay, so we'll spray off the rest of this field, move on to the next field and spray that, and then we'll do a quick check to see when the weeds have started to die. So it might take several hours, it might just be a few minutes before they disappear, but we will check in a little while. So I'll carry on spraying and I'll catch up with you momentarily. So we're into the second field now. Again, you can see a very distinct difference in the colour of the fields with with dead weeds and live weeds, and you can also see the crop is a little bit taller. The oats here, you can see how it's just being pushed back a little bit by the underside of the tractor, and it's a really nice little visual to see that. It looks great from the above view. You can just see it kind of folding back up. I was a bit unsure about seeing that on the preview streams and the Gamescom footage, but actually seeing it in effect and actually in action, I think it'll look different on other crops. You can see as we hit a bump there, the arm actually on the left hand side and occasionally on the right hand side, it just dips into the crop slightly, and you see the crop being moved. It's a really nice little feature, a really nice little touch. Let's see if we can raise the lower the boom down a bit more. And there you can see that kind of sweeping effect. That's nice. I like that. Now that I've actually seen it in action myself, it's a really nice little visual. You always see these things on preview streams, and they're always on PC, and you never really realise. Well, you're always circumspect as to how it will look because it's on a powerful PC. being run at the best possible frame rate and resolution, and graphical settings. And you're never quite sure how it'll translate until you actually get hands-on with it yourself on your own system, be it on a console or just your own PC, because there are no kind of standard settings for PCs. Everyone's PC is different, so you're never quite sure how some of these effects will actually look. And I like the effects that we've seen so far. They really are very, very nice indeed. And look how bright this crop is, how vibrant the colour of the field is. These are kind of shades of colour that we've never really seen before with our fields, just so lush in places. And again, it's partly down to the improved graphics, but it's also down to the new lighting engine. It catches the fields in different angles and it just changes the colour of the field. Very, very nice indeed. Oh, we've missed a little bit there. I've been trying to go in straight lines where I can, but I have been missing little patches, and then when I spot them, immediately going back and making sure that we do kill all the weeds. I don't want any weeds on my field. Money is going to be very, very important for us for at least the first few harvests, until we can kind of build up our supplies a little bit, start reducing that loan debt and pay less interest. Something else we need to do actually is check to see just how much interest we've paid, see if the interest rates have changed between 17 and 19. So we'll do that when we finish this field off, and see if we're paying an absolute small fortune in interest payments, because if we are, that will certainly change my thinking when it comes to taking on big debts going forward. So let's swing around. Unfortunately, we are going to be overspraying on the sides of the field a fair bit on this pass, and it was the same on the other one as well. The spacing isn't perfect, and this is because we're using a very wide sprayer as opposed to a 9-meter seeder, which would have made things much, much more compact, and it wouldn't have mattered as well if we were running over the edge, because we weren't paying for anything. With this, it's a little bit different, so yeah, not ideal. I wonder, I'm just going to try this actually, see if we can kill the weeds in areas of grass like that. What happens if I spray? No, it doesn't affect scenic grass and potential weeds like that. I didn't think it would, but it's one of those things that's worth checking out at least once, just to see what kind of carnage you can cause on the local countryside. It looks like the other field still has dead weeds in it, so they haven't died off yet. At least closest to us. I don't know what it's like on the far side where we first got started. Again, we can check that as soon as we finish this field. See whether some of these have started dying off. We may possibly need to run over them with the weeder. I'm not entirely sure. I've seen footage of these weeds being killed, but beyond that, I haven't really seen what happens to them, so I don't know if they disappear or if we have to then run a weeder over them to get rid of them. There we go. So we can fold the sprayer up now. Yeah, it's still full of weeds, isn't it? Even though they're dead, they're still there. Let's grab the weeder for a second and see if that will actually remove them, or if it is a case of just waiting for them to disappear. And we used up almost a full pallet, a full tank of herbicide there to kill off all the weeds on both fields. So it's a good job we did buy 2 tanks, because if these weeds pop up again while the crop is still growing, we're going to have to use that again. So, let's see. No, it's not removing them, so it is just going to be a time thing. I think we're going to have to wait for them to just disappear. I thought that was the case, but I didn't think they would take this long to disappear. I knew it wasn't instant, I just thought by now that we might have seen at least some of them disappear. The ones that we sprayed first. Not the case, so... Right. Let's quickly check our interest payment. How much did we pay out last night in loan interest? Loan interest, $4,000 euros. Ouch. That is, I think, a fair bit steeper than we're used to. So, yeah, be very careful taking out large amounts of debt, because you will get hammered for it even more now than we did last time around. That's why all our money went overnight. We're going to get hit for $4,000 every day until we can get this debt down. And we can only pay off in $5,000 chunks, so it looks as though we're going to have to do a fair bit more contracting just to keep ourselves afloat until we can sell off our first crops. Interesting. Alright, there we go. That's parked up. Engine off. And let's take a look at the contract page. We need some... Ooh, that's a big contract there. 27.5 grand. Field 10. The lease will only charge us 1,500. That's good. Where is field 10? Let's take a look. Oh, it's this one here. That's a good sized field, and that's beets. I think we're going to do that contract. We're going to need that money, and at the very least, we can pay off some of our debt. Just a little bit, but some of that debt. So instead of hitting accept contract, we're going to lease items that will lease and accept the contract. Otherwise, if we accept it, we then have a job to do with no equipment that we can actually use to do it. Let me just have a look and see what else there is. Yeah, that's by far and away, the most, profitable contract I've seen. So, lease items. There we go. Well, this gives us a reason to use the Mahindra. We can use this to run down to the store where our equipment is, collect it from there, and then we can drive the Mahindra back up here when we're done. So, I'm trying to find reasons to justify keeping this at the moment. And I've also started shortcutting through here, as you can see. I've got this this flattened track between the fields. There we go. Weeds still not gone. It's now, 3 hours after we sprayed one of them, I think. Or at least 3 in-game hours. So they should be gone, hopefully, by the time we finish this contracting job, because this is going to take us a while to get done. So I'll crack onto the field, and I'll see you as we're getting started. Okay, so we are up here on field 10, owned by Jonas Free. And he wants us to harvest his sugar beets. As you can see, very, very weedy on here. We don't have to do that, thankfully. Let's unfold the header and the harvester, get the engine on. And we're using the Tiger XL, Tiger 6. And it has the new 12-row header. This was available with the Holmer pack as a mod. And I believe with the Roper mod pack, there was also a mod version of the 12-row header as well. It's now default standard equipment. There we go, turned on. So let's start harvesting some beets. There we go. And in cab is very, very nice and swish in here. Lovely controls. Again, you can see the pneumatic seat going up and down. And we have our sort of real-world photos stuck on our display screens there as well. There's Roper branding on the chair behind us. Jiggling away. Oh, we're missing a line. There we go. As before, this has a variety of different steering modes. So you've got all-wheel steering, turn steering, which is what I've got it set on at the moment, grabbing left and grabbing right as well. And you can just simply scroll or toggle through those holding R1 and pressing L3. I'm just going to use the turn steering for now. It's going to be a little bit easier, I think. And we're going to need to do some headlands. It's missing thin strips again. There we go. You can actually see the grass on the edge of the field being pushed away by the side of the header. Again, it's just little visual things that you notice that all start to make a real difference when you add them all together. And you can see here, this vehicle is reserved for contract work. That's to stop you from basically taking on a contract and then going off to harvest your own fields with a leased contract, a leased combine harvester, or whatever it is that you're using. It stops you from using equipment reserved for the lease on your own fields. You can only use them on the fields that the field that the job is for. There we go. It's a big field. This is going to take us a while to do this, which is why it's a very big payout. But as I say, we need that money, and we've got nothing else to do on our own farm at the moment until A, those weeds die off, and B, the crops grow a little bit more. We are going to have to spray field one more time with fertilizer, because that needed 2 stages. It got 1 in the planting stage from our seeder and needs to be sprayed with fertilizer with our hardy sprayer to give it the second application, and we'll do that when we finish this job off. Hopefully the crops won't be fully grown by then. I really have no idea how long this job is going to take. I do try and play in ×5, as you know, but for this I'm going to be very loose with my choice of time zones, or time speeds, time zones. I'll be quite liberal with switching where I need to. So if this job is taking too long and it starts cracking on through the day too far, I will slow down to ×1, and I'm not averse to changing the crop growth speed, from off, during the day to back on again overnight, to try and simulate growth every day. We'll see how things go. It depends how quickly those crops are going to grow. I will check back in at the farm partway through this contract just to see what progress is looking like. So I will see you in a little while. So that's one of the downsides to this contract, being a sugar beet contract, is that this truck is not big enough, really. It's really, really small. We've got a fair old distance to cover on each delivery as well. We've got to go to the train station mill. We're getting very familiar with that location. Had quite a few contracts that have paid out there. So that's where we've got to take this load of sugar beets. And I've done a decent amount. This is the second unload that I've tried, and we only got a little bit in here because the capacity on this is only 48,000, and the combine holds around 43,000. So yeah, it's almost a case of you need to unload the truck after every single harvest almost, which is a little extreme. We're going to cut through the fields just here between 17 and 18. That'll bring us closer to where we need to be, so we can kind of shortcut through to get where we need to go. But yeah, long trips back and forth to the sell point. This contract is going to take a lot longer than I thought it was, so I might well need to turn down to real time to finish this one off before the end of the day. Let's cut across the grass a little bit. There we go. It's another new selection of truck equipment that we're looking at now. We've got the man truck and the cramper trailer as well. We haven't seen this one yet. This was, I think, possibly in the game as a mod. Can I get through this way? No, I'm going the wrong way. I need to be on that road over there. We'll go cross-country this time. Hopefully we're not going to have really bad terrain. There we go. But this is, I think, new for base game equipment, this trailer. It's nice. It's just... I like the fact that it's got a cover on it. It's just, for this particular job, why didn't they give us a bigger trailer? That would have been nicer. Maybe that's why our payment is so high on this one. It's not just how long it's going to take to harvest the beets, but how long it's going to take to deliver them all as well. I hope we get a nice delivery bonus in terms of, crop sale bonus for this as well. Let's see if we get any cash for tipping these in. Alright, we need to turn here. There is that little tight ramp. Do I want to try that? Yeah, let's give it a try. Swing wide a bit. Oh, that was rough. Yeah, I think we might go in the other way next time. It's quite steep up there as well. Not really suitable for a truck. Oh, still indicating turn those off. There we go. Do we get any money for this? I'll tell you what, I do like the new unload animation for Sugar Beets. Well, they actually come out individually. Yeah, we got... no, we didn't. We just got 12% notification. So that means we need 8 more of these trailers. That's a lot of trailers. Yeah, this is going to take some time. Just nip back over to the farm just to have a quick look at the weeds, and as you can see it says weeds 0, but the dead weeds are still here. Looks like the crop has grown a bit more actually since we sprayed it, possibly. Not too sure. Let's take a look over here. Oh yeah, it's definitely grown, look, because you know, these weeds are almost completely covered now. They're still there again, look, you can just about see them. There's a dead weed. But yeah, so I'm going to turn off crop growth so it doesn't grow. Well, actually no, we'll leave crop growth on, but I am going to slow time down to real time just because it's going to take me, I think, another couple of hours to finish off that contract job, and by that point it's going to be, you know, nightfall. So yeah, I'll carry on working away over here. And I'll see you in a little while. Made a lot of progress on the field. You can see there's not too much left now in the grand scheme of things. A lot has been harvested over there. Obviously we've got a few widths down here that have been done, same on the other side and at the top as well. So it's this kind of chunk here in the middle that's left over. And this will be trailer number 6, I think. It has actually been kind of fluctuating a little bit. I said we would need 9 trailers working off a 12% percentage. But the second trailer put me up to 25%, the third one put me at 38, then 50, now I'm on 68, I think, or 63, something like that. So this one should make us 75%, so we're going to need 8 loads in total. Now if we have anything left over, we have a choice. We could either harvest that and keep it, I suppose, or harvest it and sell it, or just not bother harvesting it at all. That's one of the kind of differences between delivering like this. We have to deliver a certain volume, so it's not necessarily how much we've harvested, it's how much we've delivered. Seems to be what triggers the completion of the contract. We make our way over to the sell point. Once we hit that 100%, which will be, you know, 8 trailers in total, I think, you know, we will have the option, as I say, of just doing what we want with the remainder. We could keep it, although I'm not sure if our silo will store it. I'll have to check. Traditionally, you know, the in-game silos only store grain crops, not root crops, so we'll have to check that in the shop menu and have a look, see if they will take root crops as well. I have just been using this ramp. It's a little bit quicker than going all the way around, and it's easier to go in than it is to go out that way with a truck. when I have to turn around again. So let's have a look. Actually, no, it's not the pause menu. It's in here, isn't it? What was I going to check? Oh yes, the silo. Nope. There we go. No, they don't. Look, they don't take root crops. So we would need to basically dump them loose somewhere if we decide to do that. We're up to 90% transported. So that must have been trailer number 7 then, not trailer number 6. So just one more load to go, and this contract will be finished. I worked for over an hour at regular speed, and then after the last trailer I did switch time back to ×5, so we're now at 3:45 in the afternoon, and last time I checked at the main farm the weeds were still showing, the dead weeds, so I'm not quite sure whether they just stay there permanently or whether they do actually disappear. That's a bit weird. You know, we spray them and they kind of shrivel up and die, but they don't disappear. I'm not sure if that's, you know, the way it's meant to be or not. There you can see stage 1 weeds on that field. And then there are some weeds in that field there that are all the way fully grown. You know, just hiding in the sunflowers there. And here as well in, I think that's soybean. Looks like soybean. And they're in that cornfield as well. Lots and lots of weeds everywhere. I can see the weed mechanic in regular sort of gameplay getting quite frustrating. It'd be interesting to see if and when Seasons makes its way over to Farming Sim 19, how weeds work in that. And there you can see a field there that has dead weeds on it. I think that might be a potato field. Just over there. It might even be a withered field. So if a field withers and it has weeds on, do the weeds wither with the field? Another interesting question. We will have to look into this in a little bit more detail once we've figured things out a bit better. But for now, we need one more trailer of sugar beets. So that'll be another few passes up and down. Looking forward to getting my hands on the cash. There's been quite a bit of work involved to get this 27,000. Quite a bit of work indeed. So what I may well do is, if we do have stuff left over, is I may well just finish the field off while we have the equipment before we go into the menu to complete the job, and just try and get extra by selling the crop directly. I might even see if I can try selling it somewhere else. That's something we could look at. See where the best sell price is and take them direct to that sell place instead. So I'll carry on working away here and load up on the final trailer that we need. And once that's been done, we'll see where we stand and see where's paying out the best, and see if we can transport over there. So, final trailer. Let's see. This isn't quite full, actually. It's just a little bit short. Just the way the beets fell in terms of filling up the combine, or the beet harvester. But this should give me enough to complete the delivery part of the contract. There we go, 100% transported. We've got a little bit extra there as well. Look, 2,756. What is the price for beets here? Let's have a look. We are at train station mill. 297. That's actually it's actually the best price at the moment. So I think we might just carry on harvesting away just here. Sorry, delivering here. It's not too far from where we're located. Just looking around, the closest would be Railroad Silo East. Actually, let's quickly check the price of Railroad Silo East. Oh no, that's a storage silo. It's not. Yeah, it's not a sell point. So the nearest sell point is pretty much where we are, I suppose, although you could argue it would be Port Northwest. We can check the Port Northwest price. Port Northwest, 190. That's a terrible price compared to where we are now. $100 or 100 euros less. So yeah, we'll keep delivering here to the train station mill, at least for now. This also gives us the opportunity to test out whether or not the market crashes after you keep selling, multiple trailers, in the same way as it did on 17, because we haven't sold crops yet. We've only really delivered crops for other farmers, so on contract work. So this will be the first time we can actually see how that price fluctuates after every trailer. Okay, so that's a little strange. I just got contract on field 10 finished, even though we've already kind of delivered 100%. Maybe there's more to this contracting than I thought. Maybe it's not just, maybe you've got to, work a certain amount of the field as well as deliver a certain amount of crop. Well, regardless, we've already delivered everything that we need to deliver for the contract itself, so everything else now should just be pure profit. And of course, no crop destruction on this, because this isn't one of our fields, so we can kind of get away with cutting across the crop like that. 43,000 here. Load that in. And before I go too carried away working the rest of it, well, you know what, I may as well just work the rest of it. I was thinking, yeah, no, we're going to deliver this. We're going to see if we do actually get a payout. We should do. We should get a payout for this. So let's close the lid. We've got 5,000 litres of capacity left, but we're going to deliver before then. Cut through the fields. It's a little bumpy. I shouldn't really be taking that flat out. It's not going to do the truck suspension any favours. It's quite nice in here in cab, and we've got a cup in the cup holder as well. A cup of Joe. Quite a nice little seat there. There's a centre console down, or middle seat folded down. You can see more cup holders, I think. I'm not quite sure what that is mounted on the dashboard though, if that's a light or a phone holder maybe? GPS holder? Most GPSs are built into equipment these days rather than needing to be mounted on the dashboard. The days of the old TomTom, with a little suction pad stuck to windscreens, doesn't seem to be a thing anymore. It's pretty much standard equipment in vehicles these days. And I have to say, I think the mirror visibility has been improved a little bit in Farming Sim 19. It does seem as though we can actually see a little bit clearer and a little bit better with the mirrors. It may just be that I'm sat in a slightly different position. At the 60-degree angle as opposed to the 50 or the 55, and it's changing my viewpoint with the mirrors, but they do seem a little bit better. Not quite so restricted when I've got a trailer behind me, and all I see is just the trailer and nothing to the side of it. So, we sell. Ah yeah, look, we're getting cash. Quite a bit of cash as well. Well, look at that. We are getting a huge payout. We're getting one single trailer there. It's just paid us half, almost, of the entire contract payout that we're going to get when we finish this off. So, what has that done to the price at the market? Has it changed it? It's dropped by 1 point at the moment. It's 289 instead of 290. Yeah, we'll keep doing that then. We'll finish that field off. We'll get a payday from a second trailer. It won't be necessarily quite as much because I don't think there's another 45 or 43,000 litres left. But we'll get a payout for whatever's left. And then we'll close the contract off and we'll get our 27 grand from that. And all of a sudden, our finances are going to be looking a lot healthier than they were at the start of the day. There we go, another 17,000 litres, the last 17 on the field, and we've got an extra 5 grand for that. And the price, 290 again. It's rebounding really, really quickly. So maybe the market price is a lot more, what's the word? A lot more stable than last time out, which is a good thing because I hated how anytime you sold in any kind of bulk last time, you got hammered after that first or second trailer on everything else that went through. So if that's the case, and it's now a lot more stable, that is a very good thing indeed. So we're going to run this back to the store. We'll leave the harvester on the field. It can be picked up from there. But we'll run this back to the store because that's where our retriever is. And then we'll close the contract out, get the 27 grand payout for that. And that'll put us on nearly 50,000. Oops. And with no big leasing fees, you know, we could actually put a fair bit of that towards paying off our very big loan debt at the moment, which is costing us over 4 grand a night in interest payments, nearly 5 grand a night in interest payments. So here we are back at the store. There we go. If we just park the truck here, there's our retriever waiting for us in a parking spot where I left it. Engines off, jump out. Let's close down the contract. Complete for 25,978. Of course, we had that lease cost, didn't we? So 26 grand effectively. Oh, look at that. Fantastic. We're on 46,000. So let's just pay a little bit off on our loan, so we don't pay quite so much in interest. Let's drop that down to 695. So we're under $700,000 of debt now. And I'll drive back to the farm, turn in for the night, and hopefully in the morning our crops will have grown enough that we can actually start our harvest. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more Felsbrunn Farm very soon.